Okay, and now coming to, so how many minutes do we have?
Another 5-6 minutes.
We have around 5-6 minutes. So I want to then quickly tackle two things. One is, in my view, the most radical legislation to have come since independence is the Right to Information Act. That can tackle corruption like nothing else can. Not a demonetization which seems ki yaun karke humne sabko line mein khada kar diya. It's all very nice for speeches, but in the long run it has no impact. The Right to Information Act is something that has an impact which supersedes any other impact in my view. I'd like to know your view on that. And is there any surprise that no party, not the Congress, not the BJP, not the BSP, when Mayawati was in power, the Information Commissioner there wasn't appointed for the longest time, there is no one who is interested in strengthening that act. Do you agree with me? And what would you like to see RTI become going forward?
I'm going to make this very hard for you. Now, if I was a typical politician, I would have given you a black and white answer. Either you would have come over and hugged me, or you would have started berating me. I'm going to give you again an in-between answer. Because people in this audience are intelligent enough and they deserve an honest answer. I believe RTI is one of the most important legislations that we have had. I don't believe it is the most important. I believe GST is the single biggest legislation come constitutional amendment that we have had in these 70 years. And I can talk at length about why India has become one market. The US got this about 90 years after 1776, when they created the Interstate Commerce Act and it became one country. When trucks spend 3 days cutting across the country instead of 3 weeks, it has enormous economic advantages. Before GST, it used to be more expensive for moving raw materials from one state to another state. It was better to export it to China and import the finished product from China. The reason I'm saying all this is that economic improvement is a fundamental aspect of people's rights. You have, I'm not dissing democracy, I'll come back to that in a moment. I think we should be proud of the democracy that we achieved. I think we should be proud of our founding fathers and mothers for their commitment to creating the democracy. I think we lost out for several decades in economically uplifting our people, which many of our peers overtook us for 4 or 5 decades. We've been catching up. And I believe the GST in the next generation will be remembered as the single biggest inflection point in providing dignity to people because of economic upliftment.
What about RTI?
I'm coming to that. So I said RTI is extremely important. I disagree with you, it is the most important. And I agree with you that every party has gone around it. I think RTI serves a very important purpose. To a little extent, it was being misused. Now, that will always happen as long as it is 80% good, 20% misused by certain people who want to just... There are blackmailers who also resort to RTI to create problems. We should improve the system. I'm not against RTI. I'm extremely for RTI. And I'm willing to take a public stand that we ought to devote much more resources and provide constitutional protection to things like RTI. I'm just not willing to say that it is the most important or that it is the be-all and end-all of our democracy. I think it's a very crucial part of our democracy.